Let's try this again. I love Albert Einstein for many reasons. He was a philosopher as well as a scientist, which inevitably I don't see how you could not be. Anyway, he revolutionized physics with his theory of relativity, the proof of which was very hard to attain, but had to do with the bending of light as proof of the warping of space-time. This is revolutionary in terms of our own cosmology. This implies that light has mass. Light has been described as both a wave and a particle. In terms of the quantum reality, you can even use that word. When you're not looking, it's one thing. When you are looking, it's another. It is both a particle and a wave. And along with the fact that it's a particle comes the fact that it has mass, just as the relativity proof shows. So if light has mass, it is not infinite. Not to mention its source. Stars are really big. They're really hot. But they are finite. You cannot have infinite energy coming from a finite source. It does not work that way. Rather, it is finite. Whereas the speed of light may be a constant in a vacuum, just like everything else in the universe, it dissipates in energy. Therefore, the most plausible explanation for the redshift theory is that the objects that are furthest away have the strongest redshift. It does not mean that it's expanding faster on the outer reaches of the universe, which is counterintuitive to the Big Bang Theory to begin with, and sees the introduction of such unprovable, ridiculous ideas such as dark energy and dark matter to explain these anomalies that have come, along with the further advancement of instrumentation, namely telescopes. Proof positive. But we have a dinosaur theory based upon a cosmology that was introduced by a guy that just so happened to be a bishop in the Catholic Church, Le Maître, who later became Abbey. And this theory received approval from none other than the Pope. The Pope approved of it. Because inevitably, when you trace it back, you have the concept of the singularity.
Lord, I
Good luck
love the
explaining that
singularity.
one. It's a creationist wet dream. There is no explanation. The universe is entirely mysterious. No religion, no scientific theory can explain it. We can semi-explain our little pocket of the universe, but in terms of a whole and where it came from, good luck with that one. The redshift theory is a joke. It's not true. The microwave background that was used as a pillar of proof has been described as integral to any number of models in terms of cosmology. It's actually more prevalent and relevant and actually measurable in the plasma cosmology. Because plasma cosmology is actually empirically verifiable. I'm not saying to put all of your faith into plasma cosmology. All I'm saying is that in terms of a cosmology, it makes no claims as to where the universe came from, where it's going. Its only concern is of how it works as a response to the new, once again, new information made available through the advancement of mathematics and subsequently the technology used to view from this wonderful platform we call Earth. What we began to see, particularly in the mid to late 80s, were galactic superclusters that required a multiple amount of times the current timeline given to us by our present cosmology of roughly 14 billion years. You see galactic superclusters, some of which would take over 100 billion years to form. Once again, new information obliterates the preceding paradigm. Science is continually rewriting itself, as it should. That's a good thing.
What you mean that's a good thing?
There are different levels of understanding. And the deeper the rabbit hole goes, the stranger it gets. On the polar opposite end of this spectrum is the quantum realm, where no mathematics replies or applies in any absolute sense. The best they can do effectively is probability equations. Matter arises out of a sea of potential. How does this potential exist to begin with? How does this potential exist within the Big Bang Theory? When everything is traceable back to a common origin, a point in the void of space. God knows where that came from, and God knows where the singularity came from.
You know I
But
love the
within the
singularity.
singularity contain all the laws of the universe, the seeds of life, the seeds of love, the seeds of beauty, of evil, and all of it. Where did it come from, science? And I'm kind of with you with the whole God done it thing. Doesn't really work for me either. I'm a bit more partial, I guess you would say, to the mystery of it all. It's an ever-deepening mystery, and it has plagued and inspired mankind since the dawn of time, and will continue to, inspiring countless generations of artists, scientists, spiritualist mystics, each one of which, if performed competently, will arrive at one's own truth.
What you mean competently?
It's good, but it need not apply to each and every one of us.
What you mean good?
Absolute truth. In terms of cosmology, such a young science with a bullshit theory. God help us. Because this fatalistic, benign, sterile, pointless, Darwinian, linear cosmology has had a profound effect on the mass consciousness, particularly of the Western world. The birth of cynicism, the skeptic society, the people on the negative that have effectively castrated their connection to their own spiritual nature and are at war with themselves and project that into the world as a war against religion. The triumph of reason Evolution is a fact, they say, although they provide no true mechanism other than the nebulous natural selection. And I'm sorry, but the environment is not the mechanism. The environment is the stimulus. So basically what I'm saying is that of course religion doesn't have it right, but neither does science. So chew on that one for a while, and I'll get back to you later. This is the elementary interpretation of a very complex idea. Not to mention, I'm stoned on a Sunday, so I'm not a religious zealot. I'm just saying. Peace.
You hear that, kiddies? Don't do drugs.